starting point, it's really important to get a snapshot of what does it look like. How are we really, imagining that the search engine results page will change? And this is obviously constantly updating, and depending on the query, can look quite different. But in this particular example, one of my favorites, what is the best breed of dog? You can get an AI overview and see what the result actually looks like. This is different than what you would have seen previously, and again, giving you a really robust and detailed answer to what the query is. So you can see right there in this particular example where you're getting the AI overview and clicking the generate, it's updating those results and giving you what AIO is producing as the best answer for that particular query. So really, really interesting. And you'll see there that you get the answer directly within the SERP, talking you through what the different options are for best breeds of dogs and little snippets of things that you would want to know and consider about the different types of dogs as well. So really, really great stuff in terms of being able to get a full, robust answer without even moving off the SERP as well. The only complaint I have is that the answer isn't very specifically Shih Tzu, which I think it is. I don't think there should be really too much need for more detail than that. I would have this little pup as my answer. So how do we tackle it? How do we prepare for this? Obviously, depending on the query, the results are going to be different. But there are some things that we know are going to be relevant and important regardless. Step one, stay calm and adapt. Historically, as we know, we've faced these challenges before, and ultimately, I think, if anything, it just becomes more and more important that we exist, that we're doing the right things for our site and also for our users, for our audience online. So chill out, it's going to be fine. Educate leadership. Obviously, with these changes, it's really important that you can inform, the wider leadership within your organization on how this could potentially impact or change traffic. It's really, really critical that you are prepared and addressed for this. So making sure that you're having those conversations, educating the organization, your leadership and other stakeholders around these changes and the challenges and the impact that it could potentially have. Focus on specificity. We'll go into a little bit more detail on this, but you can't be broad and basic. You need to get a very specific critical answer, emphasizing EEAT. Of course, this isn't anything new, but knowing experience, expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness, it is critical to validate, that your content should be the one doing well. Redefine SERP rankings. We know that obviously, as we've seen from that one example too, the best breed of dog, that things are changing. Things are going to be updating, and it's important that we're just prepared for it and aware of how it can have a big impact. And adopt an always-on mentality. Any way that we can transition to automated technology-driven approaches for continuous SEO optimization is critically important. Things are changing too fast and too quickly to really not have this as an option for you. So really thinking about how you can do that for your organization is critically important. Taking it a step further on those three in particular, I think it's really important that we hone in on, number one, specificity. Google obviously is doing that research, looking for the best answers, really trying to consolidate things. The more specific you can be, the more it's going to pay off dividends for you. Authorship. EAAT obviously is a critical mantra and something that is baked into everything now. So really thinking about how you can carry this through consistently is really, really important. And then real estate versus rankings. We've talked a little bit about the SERPs changing. It's going to look different. It's going to be different. And we need to be able to adapt with that and understand that things may look different. But how do we communicate that internally and think about our overall real estate? What are the different result types that we should be going after and really focused on, particularly associated to certain queries too? So getting into the specificity and what we really mean by that, it's good to always look at an example. So you'll see, going back to the what is the best breed of dog, you see that you get a detailed answer directly within the SERP without a click. So really, really valuable. And the more that you can create and answer those specific items within the content, the more powerful it's going to be. You notice as well, when you click into the US news result, it brings you directly to the passage, which is highlighted to show you this is exactly what you've asked. You've asked for the question, and we haven't even wasted your time of reading through and finding the section within the article that is answering that, even highlighting it so much for you. So really, really lovely cutting down the work there. And you'll notice there's also a citation link to US News for more in-depth information regarding the question. So really thinking about being hyper-specific is critically important. Otherwise, you will lose out. This really comes down to thinking about, obviously, the content creation process. What are the questions that your audience, different users, consumers have, and how can you ensure that you're creating high quality, specific, dedicated content for those particular queries? This is a snapshot from our platform where you can see, obviously, the ability to do research and get guidance specifically on what are the questions people are asking and how can you create content targeting that question specifically. So really, really important in order to ensure you're doing well. Authorship, obviously, this isn't new. But it's even more and more important to validate for Google, you know, who you are, who your authors are, and why they should be trusted. So starting with the person. So obviously, who is the author? Helping Google answer questions like, who is this person? Why are they an expert? Why would I be listening to them? Why are they an expert on this specific topic as well? And there are different ways that you can really ensure that you're answering and addressing these questions by creating an author page, linking to that LinkedIn, a link to or from Wikipedia, link to other publications or articles that this author has also created, and of course, the schema as well. So really, really important, obviously, as things are evolving, they're moving quickly, you're thinking about this aspect of it as well, the authorship. And when we look at this, hopefully some of you know Patrick Reinhardt, our VP of Services and Thought Leadership, and this is the perfect example of what we want to see when we're thinking about an author to validate why would we listen to Pat? So you see his LinkedIn profile there, you see his title, you see additional articles that he has created, and of course, breadcrumb establishing position at company. So really good, simple way to help validate and support that author is someone who's deserving. And then real estate versus rankings. Obviously, with these updates, with these changes, the real estate, the SERP is changing and it's going to look different. Making sure that you're prepared and aware of this is critically important. And again, obviously goes back to sharing this with leadership as well. When we look at this example, you can see the paid ad on top, you can see the AIO result, and then the organic listings, and people also ask, as well as the rich snippet. So this is, a very new, this is a whole new thing thrown right into the middle of the SERP there. And to be honest, this is updating and evolving daily, constantly changing and adapting. And even what we're seeing now may look different in a week or two, or in 2 to 3 weeks. And of course, certainly months from now as well. So get comfortable with the changes, get comfortable with the potential of what it may look like. And the more that you can test and check this out, the more prepared you'll be. So in that example, we're looking at the AIO result tucked right between both the paid ad and the organic listing. And when we take it, in a different direction, we see AIO at the top in terms of the result, the paid ad, organic listing, then people also ask, and of course, rich snippet as well. And then finally, some examples of citation listings, appropriated content, video with timestamp. This is one of my favorites. If you're looking at a how-to video or a tutorial and you really want to, answer that specific question, it's already timestamped. It's going to bring you directly to that point within the video. Not wasting any time whatsoever. So super valuable, and I think the more that you can expose yourself to this, to test things out, to get a sense of what's happening is critically important and really going to help you be as prepared as possible as we see changes. So, some questions to ponder about your digital presence. Thinking about where you engage with your customers. Think about how you can be involved in different social or publications. What is your knowledge graph like? How are you targeting rich results? Do you have video content on your site? Who are the experts in your space, and how are you linking to them as well, and making sure that it's not just a one isolated approach, but really a holistic strategy, thinking about all of these critical new ways that the SERP will really be, potentially changing in different ways, and how you can be prepared. So really think about these questions, your overall digital presence, and how you can be prepared to address those. But with all of that being said, the key takeaways, again, calm down, chill out. It's going to be different, but I think being prepared and being aware is step one. Specificity will be key, critically important. Again, authorship is only going to continue to increase in importance. So really, really important that we take the steps that we need to ensure that we're addressing that and we're being really thoughtful. And it can't be overstated enough, the real estate versus rankings. When we see an overhaul to the SERP, and we've spent time reporting and validating, it's important to understand and make sure we can communicate what are these changes, how are they impacting us, and what are we doing to ensure that we have the right types of results, and that we're doing all of the right things in order to improve and adapt, and again, take over that real estate as we see rankings change and shift over time. So focus on these things, focus on the things that are important, and we'll be okay until the next big thing comes around, the next big change, and then we'll have to be prepared for that. But we always like to think at Conductor, and this has been something that we've carried on for years. The only algorithm that really matters is the heart, mind, and soul of your customers. So really knowing that you have that at the core of what you're doing in your content creation, your content optimization, your technical SEO is really what's going to matter and ensure your success for the present day and also for the future. So really think about
Yes,
that, put that at the core
I
of
already
everything
emailed
that
and I
you're
already
doing,
messaged you on WhatsApp.
and you'll be just all right. So hopefully some of this is helpful when we're thinking about how we're approaching and preparing for AIO. And yeah, it's a pleasure to meet you. If anyone has any questions or wants to follow up, please feel free to reach out to me. My email is fiona@conductor.com. So thank you all so much for your time. If you have any questions, obviously feel free to get in touch also through LinkedIn or any other means. Would love to chat with you about these changes, how we can prepare, and anything you may have questions on further. So thank you.
Thank you for watching. Click the agenda link at the top of your screen to choose your next session.